Why hello again, internet. So today we will be doing the V6 installation video on the Robo 3D printer. First step is going to get the electronics off the bottom of the board. So this is completely being done after the fact. There are 6 things you are going to want to remove from your printer before you actually start taking the extruder off. And that's this right here. This houses the wire for the heatsink cooler. So you're going to want to unplug the wire that's in here. Then you're going to want to unplug D10 and D9. D10 is the extruder and D9 is the fans that cool the plastic coming out of the extruder. After that, you're going to want to take out the extruder motor that runs on the X carriage. And the last 2 items are the thermistor and the X carriage end stop. Once you get all the wires unplugged from the actual Arduino board, you're going to go in here and actually undo the clips. So after you get the zip tie undone, you can remove the thermistor. This is the wire for the heater core on the old extruder. This is the wire for the 40 mil, and this is the wire for the 20 mil. I mean, this is the only one I believe is the X end stop and the actual extruder motor. Other than that, I'm taking everything else off of this. So you're going to need to remove the entire extruder because you're going to have to remove the extruder housing and you're going to have to drill a hole for the new Bowden tube. So once you got the extruder removed, you're going to want to take a screwdriver and you're going to first need to uninstall the 40 mil that cools the filament. Once that's taken off, you can access the 2 screws underneath that, and that actually controls the actual carriage that the extruder fits inside. So after you remove the 2 screws, the actual extruder cooler for the fan duct, that comes off sideways. The next thing you're going to have to do is go to the side and you're going to use a 1.5 millimeter Allen key to undo both of these screws to get the actual extruder out. It's going to be this right here. You're just going to take the Allen key and you're just going to undo these 2 bolts, and this is going to release the extruder. And so after you get this out, you're just going to remove the actual extruder itself. You can remove the carriage at this point in time. So this hole on the bottom right here needs to be cut open just a little bit larger. So this is going to have to go through here, but you need this hole to get larger. So this is a 3/16 drill bit. This is pretty much the exact size of the Bowden tube, if not just a little bit bigger. So you're going to take the extruder and you're going to undo these 2 screws first. This will expose the hobbed bolt. You don't want to run the drill all the way through to the hobbed bolt. You're going to go from underneath and you're just going to very carefully open this hole up. And so now, if you look down to the extruder, the hole is now larger and should be able to fit the Bowden tube down into the extruder. You're first going to want to put the carriage back on the actual extruder itself. These screws are going to go on through the bottom. The nuts that went into the back of this are going to be the same. There's going to be more space now because you're actually missing this entire block. But you don't need this anymore because you have the E3D V6 now. Alright, so after you get the X carriage back on there, you're going to put the E3D V6 hot end onto the extruder. Make sure that you have the position of the wires where you want them when you tighten this down, because after it's tightened, you can't get it off. So when you have the extruder where you want it to be on the printer, you're going to tighten the Allen screws. Alright, so after you tighten the extruder all the way down, take a marker and you're just going to put a line in the Bowden tube right under the hobbed bolt. Now, we can pull this out, and this is going to be the spot you're going to cut it. You're going to take your extruder and you're going to put it back into there. And remember, you want to make sure that this goes all the way down into your heat break. So this tube goes from the heat break all the way down here, through the heat sink, through the X carriage, through here, and it ends right there where you marked it. Alright, so after you get the extruder in there, all the wires are managed properly, and everything is all ready to go, you pretty much just put this back on the printer. It's back on the X carriage now. Everything in terms of the mechanical and electronic system on the head is done. We are now going to wire this into the board. And once again, this is being done after the fact. You're going to want to wire the fan that is on the E3D V6, that's on the heatsink, into this power strip so it gets a constant 12 volts. Then of course, you're going to wire D10 into place. You're going to want to wire D9 for your filament cooler. Then of course, put the extruder motor back in, your thermistor on T0, and then your X end stop back where it was before. And so when all 6 pieces are wired back up, you're finished wiring the printer. Time to fire it up and check if it works. I know I'm not fooling anyone. This is obviously my printer. When you turn your Robo 3D printer on, you want to make sure that this fan right here is spinning. So if this is not spinning, there's either a jam or your electrical system isn't wired up properly on the 12-volt rail. So you want to make sure that's spinning so it can cool the extruder down. Next are the fans. When you run an M106, that the fans run and your extruder's not getting hot. And vice versa, when you heat the extruder up, your fans aren't spinning. So there you kinda have it. I actually went out of town for about 3 days to visit some friends over in Colorado. So I just got back from an 11-hour car ride, editing this video now and making some last-minute footage. I sadly didn't get to get the recording for my buddy's printer because I just got back in town today. Another thing is that I actually recorded it while we were watching TV, so a lot of that's also audio in the background. If this video does not suffice for an E3D V6 installation, I will gladly take my entire extruder apart, put the old hexagon hot end on there, and then do a proper installation video. But thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave them below. If you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to click the subscribe button. I just got out of being in a car for 11 hours, so I'm gonna go to sleep, but thanks for watching.